What is up, YouTube? So today we're gonna be taking a look at the B58 water pump. So this is my 2017 440i, and I just recently replaced the water pump. Basically, I was getting a low coolant warning, and then right after that, I pulled into the garage and noticed there was a lot of leaking coming from the engine bay and underneath the car. When looking over some forums and stuff, I was able to kind of narrow it down to the water pump. So I ended up going to BMW, grabbing a water pump. It was about $200, and I think you can get them for cheaper, but I just kind of needed it right away because I need this car to get to work. And yeah, so what I did was to get to the water pump. It's this one right here. You can tell because it's nice and shiny, but you'll have to remove this fan, and you'll have to remove the charge pipe, at least kind of get it out of the way, and then you'll have to remove the intake also. And yeah, this is what my garage was looking like. I took all these pans off and I saw it was just kind of coming from the middle area, and there was kind of all over the place. So we're gonna start with the air filter. So I took that air box off to the left. And you'll just want to take the whole air box out. It'll just pull off, and there's like 3 prongs, but you'll see this 7mm, and that's what's holding on this hosing or this tubing for the air intake. And once you get that clamp loose, then you can pull it out and off. After that, you're going to want to pull out the fan that sits in front of the water pump. So there's the hood cabling that sits on top of this, and once you pull this off, make sure you don't close the hood. I had an issue with mine getting stuck, so yeah. Then you'll take a look at this T30 right here, and you'll remove that. And on the right side, there's going to be a little clip right down in this area, and you're going to push it down with like a flathead or something, and that will allow you to pull up the fan and pull it right out. Once you get the fan removed, there are 3 T30 screws on the charge pipe, the 2 up top, and then this one right down below. And you'll just remove those, and that will help you move the charge pipe out of the way. There's also the 2 sensors that sit up top. And so you'll just use like a flathead or a little pick tool, and you'll push the gray piece up, and then there's another black piece up behind it that you'll use. And I also covered my intake with a plastic bag, like a Ziploc bag. I know a lot of people use microfibers, but the little fibers sometimes fall off, so I just use a bag to cover everything. After that, you'll want to remove the belt so that you can get the water pump out, and you're going to have to grab a 16mm ratchet. You'll have to use 2 hands for this, so I can't really show you, but you'll push it down with 1 hand and it should move it back, and then it'll make the belt loose and you can pull the belt off. Once you get the belt removed, then you'll work on these T30 screws on the pump itself. There's 5 screws, so these 2 on the right, and then the 2 in the top left right there, and then there's 1 down there on the bottom left also. Once you get all the screws removed, you'll want to use a flathead and then just slightly push on the back to separate the pump from the engine itself. And yeah, you'll want to put some kind of pan or fluid catcher underneath because it's going to start spilling, and it'll look something like this once you get it all removed. So after that is when I closed my hood, and then I realized on the right side it would pop up, but not on the left side. And so what I did have to do is take the left wheel off and figure out a way. By removing the liner, I was able to get a flathead up and pop the spring. I'll probably make a separate video about this also. You can see all the coolant that has splattered everywhere from the pump going bad. But that spring right there is where the hood actually latches, and I was able to pop that with a flathead twice because it's a double latching hood. And yeah, basically the cable, when I removed it from the top of the fan, had came loose from the latch itself, so it actually wasn't pulling on this side. I was able to get it reconnected, and then we were all good from there. But yeah, just watch out for that. This is what the new pump looks like, and so yeah, we just have to tuck it in and put those 5 screws back on. So I did try out a head-mounted camera for this one. Let me know what you guys think if you want to see some more content like this. Personally, I did like it because I could keep both hands working, and it just kind of makes it a little bit easier to see what I'm doing. But yeah, so I'm reinstalling the pump right now, and there's 2 plastic notches, so it can only kind of go in one way. Just make sure you get those put on correctly. And yeah, I got everything put back together, filled it up with distilled water and BMW coolant. And what you'll do is squeeze this coolant hose right here, and this will help suck the coolant down into the system. It's kind of just like a pre-bleed before you actually go in your car and do the tricks to get it to bleed itself. So once you get your water pump on and everything all back together, what you're going to have to do is bleed the system. The one we just replaced is a mechanical water pump, but there is also an electrical water pump, and you'll want to get that flowing before you actually turn the mechanical pump on. So I'll show you how to do that really quickly. You're going to change your headlights from auto all the way to the right. And what you'll do is press the start stop button 3 times really quickly. So 1, 2, 3. And what you'll do is change the temperature to 84 with the lowest fan setting, not on auto. And then you'll press down on the fuel for 15 seconds. And then you should maybe hear like a little whirring noise, and your water pump will turn on. And you can have your coolant cap open, and then you should be able to see it flowing, and you can kind of add some coolant. And then after that, you're going to have to activate the mechanical pump that we just replaced. And you should be able to just start the car, and then the car should hold the revs at like 1.2 RPMs. And basically what you'll do, you'll let it sit at 1.2 for like 30 seconds. And then to get the coolant to bleed through the system, you'll rev it up to like 3,000 RPMs and then let it come back down to 1. And then you'll kind of let it chill for a little bit and then go up to 3. And then, yeah, that should help it bleed out. And then you can continue to add coolant through the cap. So yeah, it should hold at 1.2. And it should just chill there, and this will just be kind of bleeding the system. And then you can just rev it up to 3,000 or 2,000 or whatever you want. And then yeah, this will just help it to flow a little bit better. And yeah, once you get that pretty solid, then you can take it for a drive. And I drove mine just like 10 minutes and then came back, and I just needed to fill it up a little bit more. Because once you really drive the car, then it's going to cycle the coolant through pretty well. I didn't have to add any more coolant since, and everything's been running well. So all right, well, thanks for watching. I hope this helps give you some knowledge so that you feel comfortable changing your pump out. I know I was really nervous changing mine out, but everything went pretty smooth. So yeah, if you want to save some money, this was like $200 at BMW, but you could probably buy the part for like $150 online. I just couldn't wait at the time. I needed to get the pump really quickly. And yeah, I'm pretty sure they would have charged a lot in labor to install it. But yeah, thanks for watching, and just comment below if you have any issues, and I'll try to answer any questions. Deuces!